Hey Rishi, so good to be on a call with you. You're at Kubecon 2023. I couldn't be here this year, but I'm going to be getting all of my information from you. Now, what are the most significant trends you're noticing at Kubecon this year? And what does that tell us about the future of Kubernetes?
I've seen a lot of adoption of new open telemetry projects. There's a lot of tooling being built around OTel. I've seen a lot of observability tools actually as well. So there's a lot of new observability products that are coming out to the market. And most of them are built on, open source tools like OpenTelemetry or on top of eBPF. That's a trend that's picking up right now. With Kubernetes, I'm seeing like a level of maturity happening within the Kubernetes ecosystem, right? It's going on its second decade as a technology. So you're starting to see companies focusing on workflow orchestrations, like an orchestration layer across the CNCF ecosystem. So that is starting to, I actually saw a couple cool products that were focused on orchestration to kind of connect all the different CNCF tooling, right? Because there's a level of maturity there. So that's exciting. And I think that that's where the future is headed. There's going to be a lot of orchestration tools out there that kind of plug into the CNCF ecosystem. And then obviously the big standard one was security, policy configuration, provenance. I think, SALSA, Fresca, attestation and supply chain security is obviously a big problem that a lot of companies are looking to address and solve. And it's starting to gain more traction, not just in the enterprise, but with smaller organizations. So that was another good one. And then another really cool one is obviously the adoption of WebAssembly, Blossom. In cloud native, right? I mean, the performance benefits, how we can, further the adoption in the cloud native ecosystem was another very interesting one. And, I'm very excited about that as well, because we have some stuff that Team Codegiant is working on in that space as well.
Yeah.
So, overall, I'm seeing like a level of maturity in the ecosystem. And I'm seeing a lot of these almost like tool chain fatigue, just too many different tools coming out that's, solve a similar problem built on an open source library. So that's kind of the trend that I've noticed.
Yeah,
at this conference.
That's everywhere in software development in general. So many tools. Now, I'm excited about the WASM one. I'm going to be exploring that. Also, did you notice any problems discussed that Codegiant is uniquely positioned to solve?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest ones, and I think a lot of organizations, this is generally a challenge in the enterprise space with supply chain security. But it's something that, even startups and smaller organizations should be paying attention to. And generally they don't, because of like the perceived complexity that, hey, really securing our supply chain, or what is provenance, what is attestation, what is SALSA, right? What is Fresca, all these different frameworks, they just kind of overlook it. And in a lot of these existing CI/CD tools, it's a bit complex to really have proper attestation, to really have proper provenance. Codegiant, with our CI/CD platform, this is built in out of the box. Like, we support in toto right out of the box.
Yeah.
It's pretty straightforward to do. And I think that we can enable smaller organizations and larger organizations to start following these supply chain security practices from the get-go. So I think we're very well positioned to solve that. I know other CI/CD tools and tool chains out there, it's a little more difficult to really implement the SALSA framework, or to really, attest and have attestations. So that's a good one that we're in position to solve.
Yeah, agreed. And from like the general sentiment from your discussions, what does the community think in general about the future of CI/CD, about the future of DevOps?
So I think what I'm seeing here, I think we're reaching a commoditization phase, right? There are so many different CI/CD platforms out there. Everybody's kind of locked in. You have your own vendor lock-in, you have your own preferred CI/CD tool. Observability, by the way, is also headed there, right? It's becoming super commoditized. Everybody's building on top of OTel, Vector, eBPFs. And what I think the next phase of this is going to be is workflow orchestration on top of the existing tool chain for a lot of the folks that are already locked in. There was one really cool product. I'm a big fan. It's called Dagger. And that was one thing in the CI/CD space that I think has a lot of potential for growth, because instead of locking you into these proprietary YAML file frameworks, you know, like all the companies do, they're allowing you to build these pipelines and code, right? So it's much more developer friendly. So that was something that I found very interesting. We're going to be talking to the Dagger team as well about some cool stuff.
Awesome.
But other than that, I think we're at a commoditization kind of phase of CI/CD and DevOps tooling.
Okay. And what key takeaways from Kubecon do you find most impactful for Codegiant's future?
As I came this year and I saw all these different tools, observability 1, observability 2, to all of the different similar products that are being released, I'm starting to realize that, toolchain fatigue is actually a real problem. And it's only going to become more complex. Organizations aren't going to know how to navigate the CNCF landscape. There's just too many tools.
Yeah.
Every day something new is coming out, right? So how do you navigate this? What tool is the best one to use? And then on top of it, a lot of these tools that are coming out, they lock you into their own frameworks or syntax. They build on open source libraries, but they'll lock you into these frameworks or these syntaxes that they believe, or these workflows that they believe are the best approach. So in addition to, the increasingly complex CNC landscape, all these different tools that are coming out, and this whole toolchain fatigue, which is real, I think Codegiant is very well positioned to solve this, right? We don't lock you into our own proprietary workflows. We don't lock you into our own proprietary syntaxes. We work out of the box with all the CNCF tooling. We make it way easier to navigate the CNCF landscape and to get started as well, right? So this whole concept of an integrated development platform, but with the CNCF focus, is really, I think, the most impactful for our future. And on top of that, we're building in best practices across all these different tools. So, it's flexible. You don't have to be locked in to one particular technology. You can use what you want to use and come into Codegiant. And at the same time, we're teaching you best practices out of the box with our framework and our platform.
Awesome. And I can totally relate with the toolchain fatigue. As someone diving into the CNCF ecosystem, there's just so many tools to choose from, which is good, but then you get really tired and you just want one streamlined approach to this, and really happy that Codegiant is solving that. One last thing, can you show me around?
Yeah.
Since I was not at Kubecon this year, I want to see what's going on there right now.
Absolutely. Let's do a little walk through here.
Okay.